Happy Monday! I hope you're all doing incredible. And in today's video, I'm taking you along with me on the second phase of my fat loss journey, my fat loss phase, because me and my friends, we're going to Greece in the end of June. And last year, I lost about 8 kg towards a photo shoot. Oh, I felt so good. I felt so confident. And since that photo shoot, I've been maintaining. I've been going out for food a little bit more, going out for a couple more date nights, spending time with friends, spending time with family, which meant that, you know, I've been maintaining, but I'm ready for a challenge. And what better way to challenge yourself than knowing you're about to be a hot girl in a fucking bikini on the beach, private pool. Oh, it's gonna be so good. So if you want to lose around 8 to 10 kg over the next 90 days without going to extremes, without doing excessive cardio, and you want to see what a day in the life of that, this hair is looking crazy, what a day in the life of those 90 days looks like, then stay tuned, because today's the first day and I want to show you how, I'm not going to say it's easy, but how seamless it can really be when you set up everything perfectly, and also when you don't feel ready for it, and also when you're not set up, because I've not got a food shop for this week because the weekend has just been insanely busy. So I'm going to be taking you along with me on how to just make do for today, and starting off with just getting ready for the day, because we have a big day of client calls, client check-ins. So it's going to be a fun day and I'm excited. So let's go. Can we just take a moment for this hair? Oh, insane. Before we do anything, I'm going to take my updated progress photos, because this is going to give me a really good understanding of exactly where I'm at, what places, although you can't, as you know, spot reduce fat, but just to see exactly how my body is shaping up on a week-to-week basis. And even when I'm maintaining, I still like to keep on top of some form of progress tracking, so I can see that my body is actually in a maintenance, because what can happen is, and I can make a video on this another day of how to actually maintain, but you don't want to get to a position where slowly your body is changing in the way that you don't want it to, and you're like, damn, I need to reverse this, right? So this is what we're working with, and my first initial progress photos for this fat loss phase. And with progress tracking, you can track this in so many different ways, and so many of my clients, my one-to-one clients, we like to do it in different ways, in one that aligns with them and one that makes them feel good. And some of my clients like to do it through clothes, trying on a dress maybe every couple of weeks to see how that's fitting, or you can do it through the scale, although as you know, the scale is not going to always give you the most accurate data, but it's always good to use it as data to see the overall trend, because as long as the overall trend is going down, there is going to be ups and downs in that journey, and that is completely normal, but keep track of it so you can see how your body is adapting and how your body is overall working. And then we've got pictures, which is my personal favorite. My specific goal is now just to snatch up the waist a little bit more. We're going to keep the glutes and quads really nice and tight and like really rounded, so we can really enhance the hourglass shape while dropping a little bit of fat and overall. So I'm super excited. It's going to be a fun 90 days. Another way that you can track your progress is through measuring tapes as well, but the more progress styles that you have, the more tracking forms that you have, it's nice to be able to back up the data from one form of progress with another one. So feel free to do as many as you like, but yay! So, and to make my progress tracking feel super seamless and super consistent, I always keep my bikini here by my door, because I know that if I'm sometimes maybe rushing on a Monday, or if I'm running a little bit late, I will not forget about myself. I will not forget about the progress tracking. And that is a super simple way for you to feel consistent, not just with progress tracking, with anything. Like, how can you make it feel so seamless, and how can you give your brain the least possible chances of saying, fuck this, I'm not going to track my progress today, by doing little things like this. And now on to our breakfast. And as I said, well, I don't know if I said, but I actually am not prepared, in the sense that I haven't done a food shop for this week. I'm going to be going probably tonight or tomorrow, and this is one of the things that so many women, before they come inside my one-to-one coaching, they're like, oh shit, like I need to have everything perfect. I need to have the perfect water bottle, the perfect food stocked up in the fridge, all the veggies, all the fruits and all the meal preps. But this is something that's going to happen in your journey. This is something that maybe we can't sometimes control because we're not going to always have the perfect circumstances. But it's what you do with your actions and your decisions that's going to show up in your fat loss journey. Now, for me today, I'm tracking my calories going forward. I'm going to be on about like 1,550. Imagine 150 calories. Don't go and do that. And don't copy these calories or macros as well, because they're not aligned for you and they're not going to be helping you with your journey. And with these calories, I can still make the best decision. I can still go for options that I've got in my fridge, even though it's limited, to make a breakfast that aligns with my goals and is still going to track within my calories. And normally what I would do is pre-track everything for the day, but as I said, I don't even know what's in my fridge. I'm not really prepared today. And you know what, this is perfect for this video, because then you can see exactly how you can go about the day on your fat loss journey without having everything perfect, without having the perfect meal plan, the perfect things in the fridge. So let's go. And in fact, this is probably one of the most important skills to have, because externally, work, stress, kitchen, food is never going to be perfect. It's not always going to have the perfect circumstances for you to succeed. But what will give you the perfect circumstances to succeed is to look at yourself internally and to put things in place, put systems in place with your mindset, with your decisions, with your discipline, with your own resilience to push through when things are not working out externally. Like right now, if I go in the fridge, there is probably going to be things that are going to be higher calories. If I go in the freezer, there will probably be things that are higher calorie. But do I have to go for those options? No, because at the end of the day, you are in control. I am in control of what I now access from my fridge. Yes, if you go to a restaurant, like for example, and the options are limited, there might be like a Diet Coke and a Coke, and you think, oh my God, there's no water, but there's still Diet Coke. And that's still probably the better option out of those two, right? So this is exactly what going about a fat loss day looks like when you're not prepared. So welcome to my breakfast. So I found some random chicken sausages in the fridge. I've got 3 eggs, and my bagel broke while I was trying to put it in the toaster and cut it. So I've just got bagel bites, let's call them, and salt, because I fucking love salt. And then we've got an Americano, of course, and some electrolytes. So with my coffee, a little swap that's going to be so incredible for you to make is with your drinks, because a coffee, a vanilla, caramel, frappuccino, latte, and whatever is going to probably add up to about 300-400 calories. And I've now, from today, swapped over my normal, let's say cappuccino or flat white that I make in my coffee machine to an Americano with a little bit of milk. And that's automatically probably saved me about 100 calories, which I can put towards, I don't know, a bit more carbs, which I'd rather have. So it's all about thinking a little bit more forward in terms of where would you rather utilize your calories. And even as I said, I'm not prepared for today, but because I've built the ability to be able to think ahead and to plan forward and to use everything that I know that, okay, let me just save some calories here, so then I can put it towards a little bit more carbs, which is probably going to keep me fuller, right? And things like drinks and sauces, they are technically empty/hidden calories that don't really make you feel full. They're there for enjoyment, which we need, but that's all they're there for. So I'm gonna go eat my breakfast now, and then I've got some calls with my clients, and I need to get a fork, which I probably can't be asked for a fork. And I'll see you soon. So today is a rest day, and on a rest day, I want you to think about, and not just on a rest day, but every single day for the next 90 days, what 3 things with your habits, with your routine, with your nutrition, with your training, can you put in place that you know that you can stick to? And you want to make sure that these habits that you've got are going to be realistic, but also add a slight element of a challenge, because if you continue to do the things that you have been doing up until this point, and you know it's not helped you to see all the progress, all the fat loss that you wanted, it's not gonna magically make you lose fat now going forward. So this doesn't mean that you have to wake up now at 5 a.m. to do all of these habits, routine, training and movement, but what little things can you add in to your routine to elevate it, to add the element of a challenge so your fat loss can continue progressing. Now, if you're currently doing, let's say, 8,000 steps, can you look to add on 2,000 steps in your day, which is 20 more minutes in your day, to be able to get your deficit in a bigger position, burn a few more calories, get your energy expenditure in a better place, so your fat loss can happen a little more seamlessly, probably, right? So right now I'm doing 12 to 14k steps every single day for the next 90 days, and this is what I'm committing to. This is my minimum dose of habits that I am committing to for the next 90 days. And because it's a rest day, I'm gonna try to get to the end of the higher range of the steps. And on a training day, which is going to be 3 times a week, and let me know if you want me to make a video on how I am going to be training to sculpt the hourglass, because everything I'm showing you in this video is, yes, aiding towards fat loss, but in order to create that shape, we're going to have to train very optimized and effectively as well to maintain the muscle mass, maintain the glutes, maintain the quads, to be able to create that nice snatched physique. And going back to the habits, the reason why it's so important to add that element of a challenge is because what doesn't challenge you is not going to change you. So if you're just going to continue doing 8k steps because that's just what you've done, it's not going to give you the results that you want. So think about how you can now unlock that next layer, the next challenge, in every single element of your 4 pillars of your transformation. So with your nutrition, what can you add in that's going to add a little bit of a challenge? Maybe that's you start tracking your protein. Maybe you start prepping your dinners on a Sunday evening ready for the week. Maybe you do something that you've not done before, because that's what's going to give you the result that you've not had before, right? Now, when it comes to your movement, if you're normally doing classes at the gym, what can you now do to unlock that next level with your training? If you're currently doing a split that you've followed for years, and I've got a YouTube video about this on how you can lift and train in order to sculpt your dream hourglass, maybe you start changing that up and adding that bit of a challenge. If you're now going back to your steps, doing the same steps, you're gonna have to increase that to be able to unlock that next level as well. I'm now tracking my steps and my data on my Whoop. I'm showing you this, but it's literally my dog's leash, but on my Whoop. So I know exactly how many steps I'm getting a day, and I know that on a weekly perspective, that if obviously a week is not enough time to see changes, but this is why it's so important to track as much data as you possibly can with what you are inputting into your body with your habits, steps and movement and training and nutrition, because then you know exactly what needs to be changed. And this is why with my coaching, when we have our one-to-one weekly check-ins, my clients, we look into every single element of their protocols, their nutrition, their training, their habits, so we know what needs shifting, because that one tweak can make the biggest difference in your fat loss. So make sure you are tracking how many steps you're doing, your lifts, your training, your progressions, your nutrition, everything that you possibly can. Keep tracking your progress. And then when you know that, oh, it's been about 3 to 4 weeks and I'm not really seeing the shifts that I want to see, you know exactly where you can diagnose and what you need to change in order to continue seeing that fat loss. I'm just finishing up for the evening and I realized I forgot to show you my lunch. And the reason why I wanted to show you, because it was so freaking random, and of course that's the whole point of this video, but it's also so important over the next 90 days that you let go of perfectionism. And this is the reason why when there's so many 8-week guides or there's so many 4-week plan to get shredded or whatever, they do not work, because they imply that you have got 4 perfect weeks to follow that routine to the T. But in reality, life is gonna life. You're gonna have so many things that happen. Like today, I didn't even have my food shop, right? And if I waited for the perfect food shop to arrive, if I waited to have the perfect shopping list or waited for the perfect outfit to go do my steps in fact, I just realized when I was getting dressed for the evening that I had a hole in my fucking sock, right? And I had a little like a ladder going down my leggings as well. And oh my gosh, like that normally would have been a block for me to be like, you know what? No, we're not going to go today. We're not going to go for a walk today. But this is what is holding you back from reaching your dream physique, because you're continuously waiting for something to be perfect in your external environment. But you've got everything that you need to make these next 90 days successful by just being you, by taking control of your internal, by controlling the controllables and letting go of everything that you can't control. And another thing that is going to be so important for you to control is your time and your energy. It's 7:30 now. I'm just going to grab my dinner and knowing that I am going to now be switching off after finishing the day on about 12k steps, finishing the day, done all my work, switching off from screens, and getting to bed at a decent time, because sleep and recovery is going to be so important over the next 90 days, so you can give yourself the best possible chance of successful energy to show up for your sessions, to show up for your movement, to show up and make healthy and aligned decisions for your meals. And there's so much I can go into, but for now, I'm going to leave you with control the controllables, right? Because that is going to be the most important thing. Because so many women, when they can't see a result, and I don't blame you, because there's so much out there that says, oh my gosh, if you're not seeing fat loss results, if you're not getting to where you want to be, add more steps. And I know I said this to you before, but that's different, right? There's so much out there that's like, okay, we need to start training 5 times a week. You need to start doing and eating even less calories. But if you just take a step back, long your vision out, lengthen your vision, and actually look at what are you doing right now that is not serving you. Because once you remove those things, automatically your fat loss becomes easier. Like, for example, if you're working until 9 p.m. and then you're struggling to switch off and you're falling asleep at 11 or 12 or even past that, because then you want to scroll on TikTok because you've been so caught up in work and you just want to wind down with that, and then you wake up 5 minutes before you go to work and log onto your laptop, can you see that ripple effect? Can you see that compounding domino effect that one decision can make? So once you optimize and align just one thing, your next 90 days is going to feel so easy, right? And like, for example, tomorrow I didn't get to do my food shop this evening, but tomorrow when I do it, that is going to set me up now for the whole week, right? So what can you do? What little things can you implement? What little things can you remove? What little things can you protect to be able to make your next 90 days feel seamless, to hit your habits, to be consistent with your steps, to be consistent with your training? And sometimes, as I said, it's not about adding more things in, it's about taking things away. It's about looking at what is draining you right now. It's looking at your routine, looking at what time are you waking up right now. It's looking at what time are you switching off work. It's looking at what messages are you replying to that you shouldn't be replying to so you can meal prep. It's all those things that's going to make the biggest difference in order for you to lose those next 8 to 10 kg over the next 90 days. I honestly love recording this video for you all, and I think it's so nice for me. I love seeing and learning from other people. So if this was helpful, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Drop me a like, drop me a comment about what your biggest takeaway was and what you are now going to implement over the next 90 days to reach your goals. Let me know. I will see you on the next one. Bye.